Good morning. Today is Friday. This is video number 9. I pray everyone is well and in your moderate to intermediate right mind. This video will be a little bit different. Can't imagine it's going to be any shorter. But this is the planned last video in this surprise video series that I had no idea I would be doing. Thank you for the positive feedback. Thank you for your input, your insights. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your emails. Thank you for sharing. Please continue to share. So I've already decided today is my last day to do these videos. It's a couple reasons why. Again, I didn't plan to do this. So when I get up or before I go to bed or whenever I am inspired to research certain things, because I just got tired of people saying they didn't know. You didn't know. And I realized they didn't know. A lot of us, we didn't know. And so I felt like I could use this platform to do that, to inform, to encourage, to inspire. Most of the videos have been to inform. But sometimes once you get information, you get inspired, you get empowered. So that was the motivation. But I have to be honest with you, after I do these videos, I'm exhausted, I'm tired. Sometimes I get energized because I feel like, oh yeah, we did our ancestors' work today. And then sometimes I get exhausted. Like I can't do nothing else the rest of the day. So I'm not going to be doing these daily videos anymore because I feel like we've touched a few hearts. We've planted some seeds. I may potentially do it once a week. Potentially, I don't know. But I do have a lot of other projects and things I am working on that I need to put some energy and time into as well, that I feel are important as well. So thank you. Please continue to share. This is video number 9. Again, thank you for the inboxes. Thank you for all the suggestions of topics. My Black people, between y'all and my ancestors, it's like, ooh, and tell them about this time. Ooh, and make sure you mention, and please tell them to not touch my hair. It's too much. But we're going to get to it eventually, one day. It's not going to be today. It's a lot. It's a lot to talk about. The lion is just now telling the story. Today is Friday, June 5th. I would like to acknowledge Breonna Taylor. Today is her birthday. Breonna Taylor is an African-American young woman who was murdered in her own home in March of this year by Louisville, Kentucky police. Breonna was at home asleep. Her boyfriend was there as well. The police executed a no-knock warrant, meaning they entered the home. They were in plain clothes, did not identify themselves, and Breonna Taylor was shot 8 times and murdered. The 2 people they claimed they were looking for were already in custody. The home where they were found was 10 miles away. Breonna Taylor was an EMT. The boyfriend returned fire as he's trying to protect his home. The boyfriend was charged with first-degree murder and attempted murder of a police officer. He was arrested. He has since been released and charges have since been dropped. The officers who murdered Breonna Taylor are on administrative leave. Amen. Happy birthday, Breonna. It's too many for us to talk about, but just why we mad today. So when I'm looking up stuff to talk to y'all about, sometimes just songs will hit me. And one of my favorite songs in life would not leave my spirit. So I had to print out all the lyrics. So sometimes I will be referring to this song. Sometimes I'll be referring to James Baldwin. James Baldwin was an amazing African-American essayist, novelist, playwright, activist. And it's amazing. He died 33 years ago. And if you read James Baldwin, you might be seeing a lot of James Baldwin quotes going around right now. Sad that it's so appropriate today. So sometimes I'll be quoting James Baldwin. Sometimes I'll be telling you the history. And sometimes I might just start singing my favorite song, one of my favorite songs, which is My Omi Says by Mos Def. He goes by Yasmin Bey now. But if you know that song, the reason why that song kept going in my mind, because as I'm studying and researching and trying to figure out what this so-called final video is supposed to be, I kept saying, I don't want to write this down. I just want to tell you how I feel right now. I don't want to take no time to write this down. I just want to tell you how I feel right now. Tomorrow may never come. For you and me, this life is not promised. Please go play the song for yourself. My Omi, U-M-I, Omi Says. My Omi says, shine your light for the world. Shine your light for the world to see. I don't sing, but I will sing when I feel like it. All right, y'all, let's get after it. My anti-racist white people, you've been saying, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? This week, y'all been saying, what can I do? Y'all, let's acknowledge and embrace the shift that we have seen, that people are somewhat moving from apathy. Even if it's not to empathy, we may have gotten to sympathy. There's still more to do. But white people just recently have said, what can we do? Or I'm sorry. Or wow, this is what you've been going through. And I can't speak for all black people. I will never attempt to try. But for all my anti-racist white friends, we thank you. We appreciate you checking in on us. But there is a odd curiosity in all of us that wants to know. You ain't never know. You never knew. It's an odd curiosity to believe such an elevated, intelligent, educated bunch of people never knew what we've known since birth. But whatever. We do better when we know better. They said they didn't know. James Baldwin. Please try to remember that what they believe as well as what they do and cause you to endure does not testify to your inferiority, but to their inhumanity. Yes. Yes. James Baldwin. He'll be making a few appearances this morning. I've been talking to my anti-racist white friends in most of these videos. Please be clear. This particular video, I'm going to be talking a lot to black people. Still talking to the white people, but if any white people feel like you need to leave the room now, please take a moment. Because a lot of this is going to be for black people. And it might not even affect you in this way. But black people, let me just remind you of some things. A lot of black people learned a lot of stuff this week too, because again, you got an A in American history because that's what they told you had to do was get an A. You weren't to challenge or question or say, hey, ain't none of this true or right or accurate. You just got your A so you can get out. Yes. But black people, I just want to remind you who you are. If you are here today as a black person, that means a lot of things. Oh, if you are a black person in America today, that means you are from some of the strongest black people ever created. That means the seed they planted, whether they jumped off the boat, were murdered, were beaten, or raped. We are the result of that. We still here. They are still here through us. Can't kill them. That's black people. If you are alive today, you are of the strongest. They won't tell you that. I mentioned yesterday that I was going to talk about today. They are frightened. They are threatened. Believe that. We always wonder, well, why would you call the police? He was watching birds. Excuse me. Why would you murder him in the street? He was jogging. Why would you keep your knee on his neck for almost 9 minutes? They are afraid, but not for the reason they tell us they're afraid of us, not because they think we will harm them. We have never murdered and raped and pillaged their entire race and community. We've never kidnapped millions of their people. We've never raped all their children and wives. We've never sold them off to the highest bidder. We've never asked them to work for free. But they're afraid of us. They are. When they first saw this community of kings and queens and inventors and artists and intelligent, creative people in Africa, tall, strong, big, fast, loyal, loving, caring, that was the day they got scared. They've been threatened by you ever since. So they have had to create a system to make you believe that you're not as good as them. You're not equal to them, but not only are you not equal, you are inferior. Racism is rooted in the belief that there is a superior race. And if I was going to be racist, I might be racist. I do believe there is a superior race, just based on the definition and based on the paperwork. We just want to be equal. We just want to be humans, like baseline humans, like the whole God y'all was telling us about said. So I titled this video, If They Only Knew. If they only knew. Black people, if we only knew. I told you in 1820, there were 8.4 million African slaves in America. There were only 2.4 million European colonizers. If they only knew their own power. They had 3 times more slaves than colonizers. And I believe if our ancestors knew their own power, by the time we got to the 13 colonies, half of the 13 colonies were African slaves. If they only knew their own power. It's hard to know your power when someone takes it, tells you you don't have it, murders you for asking for it, and create systems to make you think you're doing okay, but you will never be doing okay. James Baldwin, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it's faced. They talk about you being violent, even in your protests. They talk about you being violent. They forget that our introduction and our invitation to this land was violent. They forget that our stay here has been violent. They want you to be nonviolent, and they want to inspire you to be nonviolent by quoting Dr. Martin Luther King, but they act like we forgot that they killed him. Ooh, if I see another MLK quote to encourage me to be more passive, like I do not remember that they assassinated him. They continue to treat us with arbitrary sway. How'd it go? Let me tell you, I hear about the property destruction. They only started caring about the property when we stopped being their property. Imagine if they cared about their property the way they care about their property now when we were the property. Yeah. If they only knew. Black people, I need y'all to know. What's that line from Malcolm X? We've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, ran amok. We didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us. But we know that. We know that. That's the thing about racism. Racism is based in the ignorant belief that there is a superior race, and you see the poorest black people just trying to make it. We not even thinking that you better than us. We see you ask for our supervisor when you really mean overseer. I am my supervisor, Karen. When Karen can't handle you, she gonna call your supervisor, the police. I need someone to come and get this black person who is standing on this street, the same street I'm standing on, in check, because this cannot be life. Black people, if you only knew. Our ancestors have been whispering to me, if they only knew their own power. Whew. I want some of the poorest, most disenfranchised black people to know. Some of the poorest, they call you ghetto. They say you want to be ghetto. You want to live in the slums. You don't want nothing else for your life. You are an animal. You don't want nothing nice. To those particular black people who are obviously more disenfranchised than me, I am a disenfranchised black person because I'm a black American, but I have a home, I have an education, I have opportunities, I have access and resources that I've worked 2 and 3 and 4 times harder to get. But that's okay, I got it. But for the most disenfranchised of us, please remember that your DNA is in the soil of the richest places in the world. That's your DNA. Places that you would not be allowed to go to today, places you've never seen, places you've never been invited to. That's your DNA. In that dirt. Black people, not only are we American, we are America, okay? We are what America wishes they could be on their best day, is black people. Because we built a country for free. We went and fought in wars for this country, and we couldn't vote, and they still want to know why we mad today. So if you are a black person today, you're the best there is. Get it together. James Baldwin says, it is certain in any case that ignorance allied with power is the most ferocious enemy justice can have. You didn't know, but you was in power. You didn't know, but you are in power. I think you knew, but you were in power. Black people, we do not have to lie about our ancestors to be proud. Okay? You do not have to make up no stories. You don't have to make up no fantasies to be proud of your ancestors. And you won't get a statue. You are the statue. You are the seed. I need black people to stand in your power, stand in your brilliance. And when you stand in your power, you stand on the same street, your back is straight, your head is up. Yes, they are afraid. They do feel threatened. It's true. They have made up rules, and they've made up some more rules. And they're going to keep up making more rules. But you will not be broken. Your ancestors were not broken. Until the lion tells the tale. Yes. So I want to point out something about most of the greatest American fairy tales. Black people. Again, still talking to my black people. Some of the most famous and amazing fairy tales in America. And I'm not talking about the mythical past of American history. I'm talking about actual things they call fairy tales. They all have a common theme. Common theme for the stories they wrote. Common theme. Cinderella. Cinderella. She was mistreated by the mean, ugly stepsisters. You see Cinderella right now on her hands and knees scrubbing. White people wasn't on their hands and knees scrubbing when they wrote Cinderella. And the moral of that story is we cannot let Cinderella in the room, because if Cinderella got in the room, Jesus, we got to keep Cinderella out the room. Right, yes. Wizard of Oz. I'm looking for a courage, heart, brain. Just want to get back home. You've had it all there within you the whole time. It wasn't nothing you needed to go get. It's always been there. Wizard of Oz. Any superhero, Marvel or DC Comics. I'm not into comic books and stuff, but I do know the premise. There's somebody who don't know their power in the story. And some course of unfortunate events takes place where they start to understand their power, or they are introduced to the power. They've had the power all along. But somehow they discover it, and somehow they embrace it, and somehow they harness it. And when they do, they become superheroes. Yes. When they understand their own power. Every great American story has a protagonist, an antagonist. The story they try to tell you is that you are the antagonist, you are the problem. Black people, you are the hero, and you are the descendant of heroes. Please be clear. Let's be clear. Economic power. They have to try to control our economic power, and so you probably have gotten emails from good, fine corporations that you probably have not seen them have a black person on their board of directors or in executive management positions, but they sent you that email this week, baby, because they know the power. If you understood it, they know. They sit in their meetings and they say, if they only knew. The colonizers had to introduce the Bible and religion and this idea of it'll be better if you don't do that now, because then you'll make it to heaven and then you'll be okay, because they had to have the meetings and say, y'all, if they only knew. If they only knew. So you got your emails from the corporations this week because they know your power if you took your dollar away. The dollar that they want to make sure you don't even get. Your voting power. They know that if you vote it, but they got to make it hard for you to vote. So they put in literacy tests and property owner. And to this day, they make up new voter ID laws and try to make it hard for me, mama, who's 95 years old, make it hard for her to vote, because they know if we voted. They know. If they only knew. They know. So black people, if you only knew the power we've always had. We talked about this week and some white people seeing the light this week that they had never seen before for whatever reason. Again, I think when you see a man have a knee on his neck for 9 minutes and be murdered on a curb, you think, ooh, this might be awkward if I look away. James Baldwin says, precisely at the point when you begin to develop a conscience, you must find yourself at war with your society. It's going to be a fight. So once you got a conscience this week, you need to know that you're going to be at war with your society. You got to know it. You've already seen it. You've already had an inkling. And for the white people, the anti-racist white people who have shared their thoughts and their dismay and have shared these videos or have tried to offer any kind of empathy, and you have been met with stories of how horrible these heroes are. Whatever feelings you have had, it hurt your feelings, it hurt your soul, it made you not be able to sleep at night, you got disappointed, you got discouraged. Yeah, I'm 45. You just one weekend, you'll be all right. Pace yourself. You talk about the power of the vote, you talk about the power of family and legacy. If they only knew. So again, they keep coming up with ways. We make our own communities. We make our own businesses and we burn them. They burn them down, Black Wall Street and Tulsa and Wilmington and all over the country. Again, Rosewood. I can't tell y'all everything. Not today. It's too much. It's too much to tell you today. But if they didn't burn it down, then what they did is they said, let's build the freeway. Let's build an interstate to cut off access to goods and services to these black people. So now we can build on the other side and have our white communities. Our communities are valued more. Our property taxes pay for an education that our children will benefit from. Your property is valued less. It's called redlining. That's institutional racism. Look it up for yourself. And so this institutional racism, redlining, says because it's a black area, it is worth less. Property taxes are less. White people like to tell you, I pay my taxes for my child's education. And because my property has been valued and deemed lesser than yours, I pay less property tax and my children have a lesser education. But that is the way it is set up to work. Julian said, it sounds like Birmingham. It sounds like Birmingham, I-59, 20, I-65. That was built to cut off the black neighborhood. So when you say, why are we mad today? Because we had to drive 5920 to get somewhere. And we know that it was built to cut off North Birmingham, and it's still cut off today. They just repaved it. James Baldwin says, I can't believe what you say because I see what you do. You created these ghettos. Y'all love to talk about the ghettos. You built this substandard housing where you let black people live and segregated them from the rest. And as those areas grew downtown, you had what was called white flight, where white people moved to the suburbs. And we have to continue to isolate and alienate these people because if they ever knew. So they isolate you socially and politically and economically. They keep you in a bubble. They keep you in a place where you're probably not going to know. You're probably not going to know. If you get an A in the books they wrote, if you got books, they tell you that education will set you up for a better time. But no, it's not set up for you to have a better time. Because even if you got into college, even if you were able to fund your education, somebody's mad you went on scholarship because they said they pulled themselves up by their bootstraps and paid for their education. Yeah. But let's say you did it. And let's say you filled out a resume, and let's say you tried to get a job. Ooh, you're not going to get that job because your name sounds black. Yeah. Your name sounds black on that resume. And so although you have all the qualifications, the GPA, you are an extraordinary example and would be an amazing asset to the company. Your name sounds black. And so that means you're probably going to be a problem. You're not ever going to be able to be the supervisor. Yes. I told you about our names. We don't know our names. The names we tell you and that we put on the resume, half of it is our property owner, our plantation owner, our master's name. Our last name is the name of who owned our great-great-grandparents. My first name might sound black to you, but it just means my family didn't want to name me Sally. So they just made up something that made them happy. It was their right and their privilege. However it go. Two things that they tell you will increase your wealth and have something to pass along to your family is home ownership and education. And those are two things that are, man, they make it hard for black people to be able to do those things. But that's how you build wealth. Low-income white people will have a greater success rate of securing lending for a home than middle-class and upper-class black people. They actually did a study on this in the 80s. In Atlanta, look it up, where it was proven. And as far as the economic power, for every $100 a white family makes, a black family makes $5.04. For every $100 a white family makes, a black family makes $5.04. Not because they didn't go to work, not because they're not educated. It's implicit bias. Blacks' unemployment rate is twice that of whites, even with a college degree. So, James Baldwin. To be a Negro in this country and to be relatively conscious is to be in a rage almost all the time. If you got any good sense as a black person, you probably mad, but don't you go to work and be deemed aggressive. You're deemed aggressive because you think you should be the supervisor, because you have the most education and experience and know-how in the building. I should be the supervisor based on what y'all saying a supervisor should be able to do. However, because I am black, y'all need someone to supervise me. And so when I come to work, I am aggressive. I'm an angry black woman. I am intimidating. I make other people uncomfortable. Ooh. I make them uncomfortable because I'm in the room. A lot of our non-racist, now anti-racist white friends consider themselves liberal. James Baldwin says a liberal is someone who thinks he knows more about your experience than you do. They will tell you about where they volunteered at. They will tell you about what their church did. They will let you know more about the experience than what you have woken up in every day, if they only knew. If they only knew. So when we bust out windows, and I don't condone violence or looting, but when they bust out windows and you get upset about the property and you get upset that these black people are upset. If they only knew. What did James Baldwin say? You know, I'm going to tell you. Anyone who has ever struggled with poverty know how extremely expensive it is to be poor. Being poor ain't cheap. You pay higher interest rates if you get the loan, if you get the credit. You're going to pay a lot more than anybody else. Yes. And so when we tear up things to try to get your attention, you think we care about that property? You don't. It's not ours. Did you care about our property? You didn't. You don't. Yeah. Talking to me about a building and a statue. Happy birthday, Brianna. The most dangerous creation of any society is the man that has nothing to lose. Y'all fixed it where we don't care. We don't care nothing about that. That's how y'all set it up. Y'all have created a people, we have nothing to lose. So why are you talking to me about that window? Why are you talking to me about being violent or encouraging me to be non-violent when every day I wake up, I am treated violently as a black person in America? In my own home, I could be shot 8 times. I can be murdered. And oh well, arbitrary sway, however it go. I can be in my car and I can be murdered. However it go. My child can actually be in the park and be gunned down. But you want us to be nonviolent. And you want to quote Dr. King. Who you murdered? My homie says, shine your light on the world. Why are we talking about slavery today? Because we woke up. That's why. You are the children of children of children of children. Another way to say pop, 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 pop. Children have never been very good at listening to their elders, but they have never failed to imitate them. That is James Baldwin. So, Black people, if we only knew. It's been there all along. They divide us. They challenge us. They discourage us. They disenfranchise us. We are not allowed to read. We are not allowed to be educated. And guess what is hard to do? It's hard to try when you're depressed. It's hard to try when you feel tired. It's hard to try when you feel like it does not matter. Well, you do matter. You got to keep trying. You got to keep trying. Because it's not just about you. It's about your ancestors whose DNA is in the soil of this country. And it's about your children and their children and their children. And they'll be referring to us as I refer to mine now. My ancestors now. They'll be talking about you. And I pray that my anti-racist white friends will want your children's children and children's children to be able to talk about you and not have to lie for you to be the hero. That's what I pray for you today. I pray that you can actually be the hero. How can you be the hero? I don't need your sympathy. We are a strong and prideful people. All the things that have happened to us, we got swagger, baby. Never let them see you sweat. We still gonna sing, we still gonna dance, we still gonna laugh, we still gonna do our hair and makeup, we still gonna look beautiful, we still gonna just walk into the room and take all the air out of it when we do. Because that is our birthright. We are powerful. You can beat us. You can spit on us. You can rape us. You can murder us. And we still here. Yes. But sometimes we just want to be a man and a woman. We tired of being soldiers. We don't always want to have to fight just to be a man and a woman and a child. Our children just want to be children. And that doesn't mean let's just not talk about it. Let's talk about fixing it. That's what we want to do. And my anti-racist white friends who just this week realized that something might have been wrong. Just this week. Just this week. You do better when you know better. You were educated in the American school system, and they could not tell you the truth. Now, even though you may have been educated in American history, and like I said, I have to believe anybody who is fighting for a Confederate soldier, a monument, a memorial to be put up for the losing team, you just didn't know no better. You know, those statues were placed there, the Confederate statues. Let's be clear of why the statues are there. They were there to intimidate us, okay? So we may not have won the war. You may be free. But I got this big rock in the park, okay? We're going to name the schools after these heroes so your little black kids will have Robert E. Lee and Jefferson Davis on their shirts, on their jerseys. Yes. We will intimidate you and we will lie to you because we know if they ever knew. If they ever knew. So black people, your disenfranchisement is your birthright. You do not have to make it your legacy. We are powerful. We got this. We are not victims. No, we are not. We are superheroes. We are the protagonists in the story of America. We are not the villains, even though we are black. They told us the villain sneaks in the night in black and the hero rides in on the white horse with the big white hat. And I'm telling you, they done lied to you. So let's take our rightful place every day that you wake up. You put on your cape. Because you still gonna need superhuman strength, and you have it because you are the seed of superhumans. Don't you let nobody tell you this is not your country and that you do not have rights. More of us are going to die from this particular conversation. More black people will be murdered unjustly. More white people will not be prosecuted for murdering black people. Yes. and the seed will still grow. So put on your capes, spread the seed. And know your truth. The lion is telling the tale, and that is what these videos are. I just want y'all to know better. All of us. I want my anti-racist white friends to know better and just say, I didn't know. You know better now. Institutionalized racism, systemic bias, implicit bias. All of you are in a situation that you can stop it and you can fix it. And if that means including the little black kid on the team, or not wanting to play the little league team because of they're all black kids, or whatever you know has not been fair. You knew it wasn't fair, but you received the advantage. That's okay. You can stop doing that now. And we're not looking for an advantage. We are just looking for it to be fair. That's all. Equal is the idea, is the concept. They say all things being equal. Black people, early on, when you didn't even know the language, you didn't know how to read the King's English. Ooh, they knew if all things were equal, one of us ain't gonna make it. So they had to make sure it wasn't equal. To this day, if black people have access to what we have access to, they might end up being the best. Lord, what would we do if the number one golfer in the world was black? Jesus, what would we do if the number one tennis player in the world was black? These are elite sports. If they only knew their own power. We are not looking for a hand up. We are not looking for a hand out. We simply just want your knee off of our necks. If they only knew. Move in your power, black people. Stop letting them take it. That's all I got today. This is video number 9. If you have not seen the 8 previous videos, they are on my page. My name is Eunice Elliott. Follow my page. I believe this is the last video. But I don't know. My ancestors, I'm telling you, they off the charts. They've been off the charts this week. But this is my last video because I have to recharge myself. I got to get my energy back for all the other things that I want to leave in the world. So, but we might do it once a week. I don't know. All right. We are seeing a shift. We are planting seeds. Our DNA is in the soil of the most honored and revered places in the world. This is yours. Okay? Can't nobody give it to you. And can't nobody take it away. It is yours. Okay. I love y'all. I actually do mean it.